Yeah, we hold Billy too there. Okay, Bill, come
Ladies
on
and gentlemen,
around.
please hold it quiet.
Okay, that's the shot.
Thank you for ripping a ticket to another installment of Hellhound Film Club. I'm your host, Cody Pope, and this is my co-host,
Danny Dimes.
And as we truly are every time we do this, we're thrilled to introduce tonight's panel and special feature. So get your popcorn and let the credits roll. First to our panel for the evening is the return of a longtime friend of the show. You've seen him in countless episodes of our revival of Hellhound Film Club, as well as multiple appearances on CODY Central. He's an independent filmmaker who just returned home after being on a gig out in sunny San Bernardino, California for the last month following a recent win at the Nashua Public Library Tiny Film Contest, serving as a shooting and rigging grip on the new Apple TV series Widow Bay, out now. Also has audiences anxiously awaiting his new short, Joey's Big Reveal, arriving later this year. Please welcome to the panel, Tyler LaPlant.
Thank you.
That was a quick applause. You're just like sick of him.
No,
You're just like, he's here all the time.
No, it's fine. I thought that was a hilarious moment of that. There you go.
Next to the panel is a first-time film club commentator. He's a local filmmaker and photographer who recently served as director of photography on the film Millennium's Eve, coming soon. Please welcome to the panel, Corwin Stauff.
Woo! Give him the long applause. That's right.
There we go. Everybody gets one. Last but not least, filling out some of our audience seats tonight are friends of the program that you may recognize: Jess Cantwell, Sammy Ann Claire, and Elliot Universe.
And as always, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're grateful to be here for another special installment of the Hellhound Film Club. But before we get too deep, first things first, as always, tonight we are live at the spot in downtown Nashua, New Hampshire.
One of New Hampshire's first dry bars and Gate City's most interesting entertainment lounge, featuring a delicious selection of premium mocktails, kava, coffee, tea, and more.
So check us out here for Hellhound Film Club live, free movie night and podcast recording on Wednesday nights at 217 Main Street, right here in Nashua, New Hampshire, where tickets get ripped at 7 p.m.
And exciting reminder, we're going to be pulling random winners before the end of each episode. One commenter from last week's main video will receive a prize, and one random attendee of our live recording tonight will win a prize each week as well. Tonight's prize is going to be a custom one-of-one limited poster featuring Hellhound Film Club's date watching the Flintstones here tonight. So somebody is going to go home with this custom poster as we do our raffle at the end of the night. So if you ever want to come out, we host our free movie screenings every Wednesday in downtown Nashua. That's one way to win. And then if you comment on last week's video, you'll also be entered to win as well.
And as always, stay tuned at the end of this episode to find out who our in-person winner is for this week, as well as YouTube's commenter winner from last week's video.
So now, for our conversation tonight, we're discussing another, perhaps often divisive, but larger-than-life adaptation of a beloved franchise. This is a film that merits commendation for its accuracy in translating the physical universe and the characters from celluloid to live action, but perhaps could have done with a little tinkering and adjustment in certain places. Nevertheless, a joyously nostalgic fun time. Without further ado, we're excited to welcome you to Bedrock for the evening. Please join us for our discussion on the Flintstones, 1994. Released theatrically in the United States on May 27, 1994, The Flintstones is an American family comedy based on the 1960 to 1966 animated television series of the same name by Hanna-Barbera. The film stars John Goodman, Rick Moranis, Elizabeth Perkins, Rosie O'Donnell, Kyle MacLachlan, Halle Berry, and Elizabeth Taylor in her final theatrical film appearance. Flintstones was executive produced by Titan of Cinema Steven Spielberg, who personally insisted upon having Goodman as Fred Flintstone, and was directed by Brian Levin, perhaps most notable for directing The Flintstones, but should also be noted for Jingle All the Way and Beethoven, as well as being a writer on classic 70s comedy shows Happy Days, Jeffersons, Mork and Mindy, and
Just gotta throw it out there because it was one of my favorite movies growing up. Problem Child 2 also.
Ooh, I didn't know that. Good call.
Gotta throw that out there.
Wow.
Definitely enjoyed that growing up. But let's get back on schedule because I can keep the year off very easily. So, in this film, during the Stone Age and suburban bedrock, Slayton Company Vice President Cliff Vandercliff and his secretary Sharon Stone planned to swindle the company out of its vast fortune, pinned the blame on a patsy. At the same time, Slayton Company employee Fred Flintstone owed his best friend and neighbor Barney Rubble money so him and his wife Betty could adopt a feral little boy named Bam Bam, who can only pronounce his name. I think that's why his name is Bam. Slayton Company Vice President Cliff Vandercave holds an aptitude test for a new executive, and Barney noticed Fred struggling with the test, so he returns his kindness, switches his test with this naturally sets off a sequence of chaotic happening, especially since Barney happened to have the highest score, so Fred is made an executive. By his first order from Cliff is to fire Barney, who received the lowest score from Fred's test. This spiral begins from here and ends up our characters to see if they overcome the adversity and the plot against them.
The Flintstones was theatrically released by Universal Pictures on May 27, 1994. It received generally negative reviews from critics, but was a box office success, grossing almost $342 million worldwide against a $46 million budget. While critically divisive at the time of its release, it has since been reappraised in the years since for its cast's true-to-form portrayals, the film's extremely technical approach to building and developing a livable world for the characters with outstanding practical effects and animatronics, along provided by legendary character creators and puppeteers, Jensen's Creature Shop, and some CGI interweaving provided by George Lucas's Island. So, let me ask you guys, and honestly anybody that's in the room, we'll bring a mic to you if so. Was this anybody's first time seeing this movie tonight? Oh my gosh.
100%.
All right. Right off the bat.
Right out the gate, gotta say this. And I need to go back and count how many episodes in a row this is for real. This is becoming a legit thing where we're having somebody every week that has not seen a movie that we're showing.
This is finally one I've actually seen.
And I want to go back now, and I want to count how many weeks because I want to start putting up a streak counter.
I'm going live in the field now that we got some new lavalier mics. Thank you to Tyler for joining our Patreon. You guys could also support the show by joining Patreon. Let me steal this from you real quick.
Yeah, it only has so much reach, brother.
That's fine. I'm going to do what I can. So, you guys, I'm over here.
All the cables on that end.
I got the one and only Elliot Universe live in the audience here. So, Elliot, this was your first time seeing this. So, can I ask you, well, first let me ask you, did you have any experience growing up with like either the Flintstones cartoon or any of like the Hanna-Barbera cartoons in general?
Yes, absolutely.
I just realized I can let you hold this mic because I have one.
Let's go! I was already taking it, guys. I was already taking it, but I left it alone. He was showing off the new wireless mic set, and then he's over there holding it for him.
I'm getting used to it. So you said yes. Was it the Flintstones or was there some other stuff that you were a big fan of?
I watched the Flintstones, and if you ask me to name off all the other Hanna-Barbera,
that's fine. You don't gotta go crazy.
I can't remember, but I watched a lot of fucking cartoons.
Okay, cool. So I just wanted to kind of get some context of your background for not having seen this. So with that in mind, what was your impression of this, and how did it make you feel overall seeing this for the first time in your life?
Well, I enjoyed it. I saw a lot of big name actors that I'm familiar with and enjoy. Fucking love Kyle MacLachlan.
Let's go. Some damn fine coffee.
And Twin Peaks. I really enjoyed it, and seeing all the little throwbacks to the cartoon and just how much fun they were having. This was what, 94? I looked it up. And the cast of characters, like I didn't even realize that Betty was Rosie O'Donnell until I checked, and I was like, shit, oh my god. And who was Barney?
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis. I fucking love Rick Moranis too. I know
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yep.
And fucking so many others. Ghostbusters. This was just like a bunch of my favorite actors.
I love that.
It was a good throwback. I loved it.
That's awesome. All right, I might come back to you because this makes me exciting. As Danny mentioned, we always love when we have people who are just seeing a movie for the first time. It's such a unique thing to see a movie for the first time, and we're doing it live in public on projection with an audience of people, some that we know and some that might be strangers. So that's really cool. Thank you for that. I'm going to definitely
go back down to Upside Down Town.
There you go. Heading back to the Upside Down.
First time, didn't you?
First time seeing.
So first time on the panel, first time to.
You mean I just got on my hands and knees to interview Elliot, and this was your first time seeing this too?
Get back down.
Some of us pay attention when people raise their hands.
We all have microphones. I didn't think we were raising
you fucking
hands.
pounced on Elliot, dude.
I know.
That was crazy.
Right? Dude,
he was just shy.
I love
excited
that.
to show off the new mic set.
Yeah. How many episodes have we done field reporting before?
Dude, no, that was beautiful. It was so earnest too, the back and forth with the microphone. You're like, wait, I don't have to do this anymore.
Dude.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I felt like I was like, all right, so this is perfect. So let me ask you. So can I, and if you don't want to answer this is okay too, but just for a frame of reference, do you mind telling me how old you are?
I am going on 25.
Okay. It's quite a young fella. I like that. Got some pep in your steps, if you will. Did you have any sort of like relationship with the Flintstones cartoon or anything like that growing up? Was that part of your repertoire?
I mean, not Flintstones. I mean, my dad was a huge fan of like classic Looney Tunes. Thankfully, not those ones, but I did grow up on Jetsons when I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe. I was, pretty young at the time. I was aware of the Flintstones, and I actually weirdly have a memory of seeing this movie in some store back when like DVDs were actually displayed in stores and not in a bucket. And I just remembered being like, what? Isn't that supposed to be a cartoon? And always being like slightly morbidly fascinated by it, because I remember my parents hated live action adaptations of movies because they pretty much always suck. Does this one suck? I don't know. That's what we're going to decide tonight.
Yeah. I like that. So let me ask you though, not a world perception, but just your perception seeing this for the first time, finally knowing it existed, but finally taking the dive tonight. How was this experience for you?
I gotta say, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
There's something really
you read
just
my mind,
fun
Danny.
about seeing how much they improve the effects. I mean, like Steven Spielberg, ILM, this is the team that did Jurassic Park a few years ago.
And then you throw Jim Henson's Creature Shop in the mix too.
Yeah, like this is like the powerhouse of 1980s, 1990s effects. And it really looks good. Like even the CG shots of like, what's up, little fucking Dino? Little
Dino.
dinosaur. Like looked really well mixed with the puppetry.
Or like the wide angles.
The way they light it, like making it darker. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's like that no one else knew how to do dinosaurs like ILM did. That's why they were the only movies you get from that time that look at all good for dinosaurs was ILM. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, you're kind of getting what you're expecting, right?
Yeah.
It's not trying to explore anything about the show. It's literally just like an hour and a half long episode of the show in live action. And I'm sure for Flintstones fans, like Elliot was saying, like that's perfect. Like that's really all you need.
It
I
is. It is one
I
of
thought
the
it was really
few.
quite funny.
It kind of reminds me. You ever see the Dick Tracy movie?
Yes, dude.
So,
oh
yeah.
man,
This
what a
has
story.
a very similar vibe of like, hey, how can we most faithfully adapt this? And something that like I think Flintstone. Maybe I don't want to jump ahead too much, but something that I really like about Flintstones is like, they have jokes like Rock Donald's.
Yeah.
And like, so there are ways that they make it a bit more contemporary, but like it doesn't, it's like universal things where it's like, it doesn't necessarily date the movie. I mean, obviously it takes place in, caveman times, so it's a little bit dated in nature, but it's cool. It's a perfect adaptation.
Yeah. I really love that's one of my favorite things about it is how lost you get in the environment in the way that like
yeah.
even the marketing campaign that they brought advertisers into the film set and had them work within the same confines of what it is they built for the movie. So it was like everything really felt so in universe.
Well, it's like earlier we were talking that they shot the music video on set. They didn't rebuild the set for them to shoot the music video. They literally brought them to the movie set and shot the video on set.
I have a question, and this is for Danny or Sammy, if either of you remember.
Yes, I saw it in theaters when it came out. I knew where this question was going. You brought it up like that.
Thank you. Can you tell me what that experience was like for
Something you didn't experience.
I did not get to experience it, unfortunately. I did see it on home video. I was a Blockbuster rental guy, but
so ironically, when this movie came out, I was 13.
Okay.
So I was at the age where I was kind of like going off to movies by myself and things like that. So this was actually one of the first movies that I went off and saw by myself.
Can I interject? 13 being such like a specific turning point in life. Did you go into it with excitement, or did you go into it almost thinking that you were like a little too mature? Like, you know what I mean? Because at that age, to go see like a cartoon adaptation is different than when you're like older and like have an appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, there's a different thing within like your school social circle, if you will. Do you remember how you felt?
Yes, actually, it's funny that you said that. So this was actually my freshman year of high school. And
wait, I thought you said you were 13.
I was a freshman at 13. I graduated when I was 17.
Okay.
It's like Good Will Hunting. Over
Smart
here.
kid.
Yeah, I guess it's been a long time since I've been in school, so I shouldn't be surprised.
Really cooking
because my grandmother got custody of me when I was
good.
younger. It was cheaper for the courts to allow me to go to elementary school than it was to pay for me to go to daycare.
There's some wild lore.
And my birthday being in September 17th, I missed the cutoff date by 11 days.
Yeah.
So they actually like waived and let me start elementary school when I was 4. But then I turned 5 a little bit later. Yeah. We're steering. I'm aware.
Okay.
But you brought up like me being 13, being a freshman in high school, and that's how it happened.
Okay, that makes sense.
I started a year sooner than I should have, and that's why I was younger. But anyways, I was 13. I played football. I hung out with the older kids.
Yeah. So you had like a more like intellectual crowd, so you felt.
No, not at all. They're the ones who
Yeah, they played
introduced me to
football.
the adult fun stuff. So I definitely went in that at 13 years old with a little immaturity and enjoyed some recreational material. So I went in there with the expectation that it was going to be absolutely hysterical. And I was expecting it to be a very immature, funny movie.
And how did you feel when you left?
That it was an immature, funny movie.
Okay. So mission accomplished then. Okay.
I expected to have laughs. I expected, at the time, I grew up being a very huge Dave Justice fan, baseball player for the Atlanta Braves, in case anybody doesn't know that.
Thank you. That was me. I did not know that.
And he happened to be married to Halle Berry.
Oh, okay.
God bless.
I do know Halle Berry.
So, and this was about the same time that during their marriage. So I was interested in the movie because I was like, oh, that's Dave Justice's wife.
I see.
Where I understand most other men went in to look at it at a different angle.
There's a
was
lot of
my-
angles.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of angles. Yes, a lot of angles.
Next week we're doing swordfish, guys. It's gonna be awesome.
Swordfish.
That would be so
I don't
good.
know
Yeah.
what you're
Um,
referencing, but I'm excited.
Dude,
Do we want to
Nah.
spoil it now?
No.
but this is why I'm glad I asked your age, because I'm old enough that I remember seeing like Swordfish stuff at Blockbuster, and so like I had a moment of like, you never seen Swordfish? And then it's like, yeah, you never saw a movie that came out probably before you were born? Why is that surprising? Like, Sammy, I'm gonna send a field reporter your way if you have an answer. Do you remember your first time seeing? Do you remember seeing Flintstones in the theater? We're live in the field with Sammy and
Once
Claire.
again,
That's everything.
Once again, you're gonna love it. I saw it at the Menden Drive-In. Woo! and
We're gonna need to get you a sponsorship from those guys because you
honest to
talk
God-
about them
honest
so
to God,
much.
yeah,
You talk
I-
about them more than we
Yeah,
do.
you plug them better than us.
Hey, I grew up near them, so that was my life. And now the interesting thing is I was born in the 60s, so I grew up with the original Flintstones too, like original
That's
Flintstones.
awesome.
And I thought the movie was phenomenal because it really did follow the whole process. I mean, it was just, the opening, the ending, everything like that, putting the cat out with the milk and all that stuff. It was just perfect. So when I saw it in, what was it, 94, right?
Yep.
94 is when it came out. Yeah. Once again, it was one of those movies that enthralled the hell out of me because I was seriously sitting there in the car, not doing what you normally do when you go to a drive-in, because I was so enthralled with the movie. And not to mention the stars too. I'll tell you, I only saw it that one time back in 94. So watching it again tonight was super cool because I forgot about Mel Blanc doing Dino. I forgot about the B-52s, for God's sakes, one of the best bands ever invented. Yeah, that too. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot Kate Pearson was in this and Fred was in it. And all
Even
this stuff.
Hannah and Barbara both were in it
Yeah.
briefly too, which I didn't know as a kid. So seeing that now was so cool.
I have a quick question. What was like the reaction like of the crowd? Like, did people enjoy it or was it kind of like mixed? If you heard people talking about it.
Well, it was a cool night too because it was young adults going out on dates and then there were children there also too, and people had were tailgating, having their tailgates down with their kids in it.
Yeah.
Kids loved it. You could hear them roaring over it like that. And here I am on a date, and I was like thoroughly enjoying the movie more than the date. So I love the movie. I think it was great. And like I said, watching it again tonight was so cool. And Harvey Korman, God, love that man's voice. I mean, I was like, I forgot he did the bird.
Right.
So yeah, no, it was a good choice tonight, kids. So,
Oh, I love that.
thank you, field reporter.
I'm
Hop
so
back in here.
so glad you were here for that. Thank you, Corwin, live in the field. So it sounds like we're.
I
it
gotta
sounds-
just touch a small point.
Yeah.
Don't mean to do the Danny thing, but touch a small point because
What
I want to
would
go.
be?
I want to jump back to Tyler's question real quick about
Hit
like
me.
the reviews,
The audience's
like
reaction.
the audience reaction. I will have to say for this movie having an absolute adult plot line that kids would not understand because like kids don't know what embezzlers are.
Yeah, it's
A
Valid.
lot of the material is very adult oriented, but it has just enough of the kid like humor and enough of the kid touch from the cartoon that's why I think that it translated well.
Well, yeah, I mean, and everything's cute. Like all the
Yeah.
dinosaurs are cute. Like they didn't do like that fucking like Disney realistic bullshit thing where like it's like the Lion King, but it's like actual emaciated antelopes and stuff. Like,
Right. Well, I gotta say the dinosaurs look really great. They don't look like
yeah,
baby,
no,
like,
it's
Godzillas.
fun. Like, and you know what? To add to Colin's point, like it the shit holds up.
You brought up it's got more of like a mature plot line. It kind of felt like they couldn't decide whether they wanted it to be a movie for kids or for adults. Like, is this a movie are we making a movie for the adult fans of the Flintstones?
That's how I felt.
Or are we making a movie to make more fans of the Flintstones?
It felt like it was for people who were who were children when the cartoon was
Yes.
out.
Bang.
So it was
Yeah.
like it was like an early nostalgia thing where it was like you grew up with this and you probably never thought it was going to be a movie. Now here's the movie
But
for
then
you.
that's something that
Yeah.
you can bring that crowd can bring their kids to.
Exactly, and kind
there's
of make
enough,
it a generational thing.
Yeah, and there's enough like cutesy, dinosaurs and physical humor and stuff, and like the kids will see their parents laughing and they'll start to laugh too. Like they want to be in on the jokes.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, yeah.
Well, that's why I've always felt like kids' movies were made for kids to watch, but the dialogue were for the adults.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, we just
Because there's always those innuendos, those adult jokes that, like, when you were a kid, you watched them, you didn't get them, and then
I
10
felt
years
like
later,
they
you
could've
watch it and
gone
went,
harder
"Oh,
on it.
that's funny."
I feel like that I really would have loved if they went a little further because I don't know exactly why. Well, I guess I do know why. This movie reminded me a lot of like the Grinch 90s movie, or was that 2000? I don't remember.
No, that was 2000.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
that's an interesting.
The
Yeah,
dying breaths of the
like
90s.
yeah, somewhere in that time frame.
Hey, Jamie, can
But,
you look
like,
that up?
reminded me a lot of that. But like what I thought that movie did better was it kind of justified its existence as we're not just going to do live action The Grinch. That's like, what is it, 20, 30-minute short. We're going to put some like 90s economic commentary, 2000s economic commentary into it. We're going to like go a little, more risque with parts like
Grinch is
where
gonna
they're
fall
just
in
throwing
some
their
tits.
keys in the bowl.
Yeah, the swing. Oh, dude, I
Yes.
forgot about the swing.
Yeah, right. And
That
I
movie's
I
fucking
wish they went a
wild.
little
Yeah.
harder on that with like
Oh, wow.
what was it?
6 years after this one, 2000, Grinch came out with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I wish they could have gone a little harder. Like you get tease of it with like Halle Berry is wearing practically nothing, crawling on his desk, and he's got the the tie bit, like one of the funniest parts of the movie. I just wish they did a little more of that, but it really just feels like for the most part it's just the cartoon plots.
So it's funny. You've brought up the Grinch, which ironically is Jim Carrey, and you bring up the tie thing. But what that reminds me of actually is the wolf scene when Jim Carrey's mask character sees Cameron Diaz's character for the
Yeah.
first time. That whole like "Aruga," blah, 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 tongue rolling out kind of thing. Ironically, that's what I thought of when I saw that scene for the just now. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, that's what that reminded me of. But it's funny that you used the Grinch, but it's still the same actor that did the also one of the
like
greatest.
one of the kings of physical comedy.
I was gonna
Like,
say
hands down.
I was gonna actually say facial comedy too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
A lot of physical
Yep.
comedy in this one.
It's like Jim Carrey and Rowan Atkinson, but like, anyways, yeah.
Like towards the end when he fucking jumps up, and then when,
Every
and he's
time
like
they did
suspended in
that,
air, but then when he's coming down, his feet kind of flop around a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's so
I
great.
like that they're able to get away with those like pure visual comedy, like
Oh,
ripped
yeah.
from the cartoon gags because
Yeah.
they've made the world
So,
so plainly a cartoon that
we
you never question it.
speaking. I wish you were here because it would have been. It was such an awesome episode. But we did Who Framed Roger Rabbit recently.
yeah.
that movie.
And I'd never actually seen it like all the
What?
way through. I remember like my dad or someone like putting it on when I was a kid, and I was like, I just couldn't. I was like not engaged in the story because I was having a hard time understanding what was going on. And it feels like there's so many children's movies from the 80s that are like very much adult movies. Like they're like the plot line of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like that's not for like a kid to get emotionally invested in. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a noir detective. thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
straight
And there's
up.
so many adult innuendos that like, it's almost like why am I bringing my kid to this? But to that point,
Because
like
my kid's gonna be so cool and
I
smart.
feel like
after.
this isn't exactly as edgy as Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I do like that it does maintain like that more mature storyline, but balances it with like the silly and the physical comedy and the tight adaptation of the original cartoon.
I
Like the
love
lynching
that.
joke.
So you just answered my first question. So thank you for that. And
Sure.
so
What was your first question?
I'm about to tell you right now.
sorry.
So sorry. The first question of this section.
Yeah.
So I tried to break up my thoughts into like different aspects of the movie as opposed to like what we've done in previous episodes. And so
And then he brought me on board, and now it goes all over the place.
well, I actually, you know what? I'll tell you guys, audience and panel, I did learn a lot from last week's episode. And so that inspired me to reframe the way that I word and organize the questions and to uniquely give an opportunity for all perspectives of something that could still be enjoyed. So
Yeah.
hopefully, but you kind of just tapped into it, and that's why I just wanted to mention it. So I guess at least from you two and anybody else that feels privy to jump up, what is your general feeling on the overall plot, taking into consideration the task of translating a 1960s animated property into live action?
Okay, so I did grow up watching this on like Boomerang because I'm pretty sure they play like the early Hanna-Barbera stuff
Yeah.
like early in the morning. If I was sick or something, I would throw it on.
Hell yeah.
And I couldn't really remember much of the plot lines like as a kid. Like I just remember watching it, like I remember the imagery and stuff. So in terms of like comparing it to what the original show is like, I plot wise, I really can't tell you. I do have opinions on the plot though. If
So I'm going to get
yeah,
to those.
okay, all
So
right,
I
cool.
do.
But yeah, in terms of actual comparison, I don't have much to say on that.
Well, you don't have to compare it, but more so, do you feel like it hit the mark in terms of like you had to take an outlandish 1960s animated cartoon that takes place in the bedrock time period?
Oh yeah, I believe
Did they
it.
translate that story wise
Oh, yes.
decently in this regard?
No, I would say yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It really felt like it came right out of like the plot of like the conniving rich jackass, like right out of like Snidely Whiplash from like Dudley Do Right, like the I'm going to embezzle all of the money and then run away with the pretty lady. Like it's right out of that. I mean, I remember stuff like that, I'm sure, in Jetsons. Just like especially the animated shows like the Jetsons, like the Flintstones, that focused more on like the kind of sitcom model, where it's very much like working class, upper middle class kind of struggle of like there's all. I mean, they get into, honestly, it's one of the better parts of the movie with like just the class warfare that like they just forgive.
No war but class war.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, again, I didn't grow up watching the Flintstones, so I can't really say much about how perfectly it was adapted. But I've got thoughts on the plot when we get to that.
Okay.
I've got thoughts. I'll just say that.
I guess shouldn't be surprised, right?
Keep it light. It's your first time.
So just how did you feel about the job that they did, the task at hand, translating this cartoon into a live action movie and like writing a story around it and all of that? How do you feel like they hit the mark with that?
The translation of the show into a live action visually was a spot on.
Okay.
Spot on.
All right.
I feel the plot was written to write a movie.
All right. Hold that thought. So let's start with you. If any, what is your biggest gripe with the plot?
Now that I'm older and I've rewatched it, I felt that it was comedically written to be serious about like embezzling and like hitting some of the social like diversity that like people faced without like actually trying to like verbally say it. I believe that the way they wrote it to be able to like express certain things without really saying it.
So I mean, I guess in my head, that's what the Twilight Zone does, and so I
Correct.
kind of understand that it's like Trojan horse. Like
Correct.
we're using a property that sells, but we're also gonna like infuse a message that we feel like is worth, getting out there.
Right, and we're gonna try to do it in a comedic way. We're gonna talk about like.
So that's your gripe, is what you're saying.
As somebody that grew, like, I don't want to say I grew up watching the Flintstones because I was definitely not there when it came out.
Naturally,
But
we all had the reruns.
like,
so.
we definitely had the reruns. So like, I always just felt like the cartoon was more like the cartoon version of like Full House. It was like
an animated
wholesome,
sitcom.
good, had messages, but it was more like, we're not going to put up with bullies. And if somebody's getting hurt at home, we're going to help them out. Those kind of lessons
The
where,
Flintstones domestic abuse episode goes hard.
Well, I was just thinking, I was like, I feel like those messages were in this one, though.
That one was a little dark. I'm sorry.
Because you had the whole situation with like how Fred was communicating with his wife and his friends, and like how that changed over time. And
that changed over money.
yeah, but you were just saying that like in the cartoons it was talking about like not taking bullies and like how you treat people and stuff. And that's why I thought that was reflected in this as well, in a way.
Yes, I could agree with that. I guess more or less it was like the plot for me was a little more adult-like.
And you didn't like that.
I feel like the plot was more written to make a storyline in a movie. Just to make a storyline, like we need a villain, so we got to create a villain.
So let me follow that up then, because
Who was the villain in the original Flintstones?
I mean, I think
The
it
Meteor?
depended on the episode.
Nice, dude. Said the meteor. That's not.
A
that's
meteor.
I mean, Mr. Slate in a lot of
Correct,
episodes.
But in the movie, Mr. Slate has a total of what? 4 minutes screen time.
Yeah.
If even.
So in the cartoon, he was the one yelling at Flintstone.
Mhm.
He was like the protagonist. And,
Yeah.
But in this, they needed somebody to be the villain, the bad guy, somebody for Fred to triumph and overcome.
But you could also admit that part of that is taking a essentially 23-minute thing and stretching it out to a feature-length film.
Correct.
So you kind of need some sort of injection of depth.
Or like a new character, like the Kyle MacLachlan character.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I like the addition, like, but I don't know. I do have separate issues, but I don't want to take away from
Yeah,
what you were saying, Danny.
are there changes that could have been made? Like, is there anything you could think of in particular that could have been done to make this more palatable for you?
I guess the worst way to say this was to like kitty it down a little bit.
Okay. So you were looking for something that didn't require you to.
What's the word you used for last week's popcorn movie?
Okay.
That makes like
Yeah. So like
Yeah,
not.
whatever they call this one, a thinker. This is
Yeah.
definitely
Well,
a popcorn
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind pushing back on that a little bit, because I almost felt like they couldn't have they were just on the edge of doing something more interesting with the plot at so many moments, and they just didn't. Like, I mean, maybe this is a little bit of like, Year of Our Lord 2026, when everyone's a little more thinking about class consciousness and
Yeah.
stuff, but like that Fred's not just going to be like,
Fred's like
hey,
a bad guy.
maybe it's kind of fucked up that like this one guy I could just have the power to lay off like the entire town of Bedrock, and like he's just like, nah, thanks, I'm just gonna go back to my humble job where we couldn't like afford to fix anything, because it's very like, not only is it very that sitcom feeling of like, oh, we've got to return to the status quo every episode because we need to have another episode next week, so we can't like have we
Have 'em be
we
the
need to use the
VP
same set
forever.
next week, so we
Yeah.
got to have them stay in the same house. But like hold on, I had a thought. Hold on. Yeah. And then it's also that very like kind of 90s neoliberalism of like, oh, sure, the bad exec is we got him, but you know, his boss who was enabling all of this, no, he's fine. Yeah. We got no problem.
Yeah,
with him.
he's clear. He's like, we're gonna
Even though
make
he
concrete.
said,
Let's
even though
hire
there's
him
like
back.
how many scenes of him saying like, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna go along with this.
Well, the very first scene that Mr. Slate's in is like, he's like, we can't fire all the workers, and then Kyle MacLachlan character is like, you want to quadruple your profits, and he's like, sits there, and he's like, I'm listening. Yeah. Okay. All right. My biggest issue with this movie is that I cannot, and this ties into Corwin's point, is like I cannot like sympathize with Fred Flintstone for like 2/3 of this movie. Like he gives Barney the help out or the handout with like the money, and that was really awesome. So that he can adopt a child and like start a family. That's actually really fucking sick. And like, we all know Fred Flintstone to be like typically like a morally good guy, maybe grumpy or whatever. But anyway, so like this idea that so Barney helps him out, he gets him the VP position, and I don't know, he just starts instantly fucking him over like the whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah, he helps him out, like brings him into his home, but then he is doing the showing off thing. He's like, and then he gets the order to fire him also, which is like, yeah, okay, he has to fire him. But then at that point, I don't know, it's like he's not looking out for his friends. And the idea that he works this job every single day and doesn't even like look at the fine print, like it's just like, I know he's like a cartoon character, but it was like a little like so obvious that it's like, I just feel like the movie thinks I'm dumb a little bit.
Can I ask you though? Because you said at the beginning of that you struggle to feel bad for Fred Flintstone for like 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the movie is expecting you to feel sorry for him? Because that's not how I perceived it personally. So I thought it was interesting that your takeaway was like being frustrated with him as if he was like our hero.
So here's the thing. He is the hero. It is a really fun movie, but and it's got a lot of stuff that I really like, but in terms of plot, like ultimately, like the idea is he's the main character of like a popcorn movie. The idea is to sympathize with this character. So, the idea is like, oh, as an audience, we're supposed to be like, well, he's in a tough situation. This really sucks for him. And obviously it sucks for Barney too, but ultimately it sucks more for him because he didn't even earn the position. Like, the melodrama is like focused around him. And my gripe is that I cannot sympathize with that because, he could have taken a stance, or he could have like found a way to like, figure it out, or set him up with like a job elsewhere.
You didn't feel like though that so like, in my opinion, the point they were trying to get across is that like power breeds corruption.
Yeah.
And those that seek overwhelming power will often cut the knees out of the people closest to them. And so Fred had to damn near lose everything in his life to figure out that lesson. And to your point where you said Fred's the hero at the end, I almost feel like Fred alone couldn't have been the hero at the end. It took Barney to fling himself up there at first.
It was a team effort.
You know what I mean? And that was the catalyst of like, I've been really fucking up. Like, and that's part of why it's so easy for him to be like, you know what? It's not like it's like that the cliche, like my riches are my family and friends and da. Like I don't need to be the VP of whatever. So I almost feel like I wouldn't have sympathized with him because then we wouldn't have learned the lesson. It's like he needed to learn the lesson.
No, I mean that is a very fair point, and like I do accept that. I do accept that reading. My thing is like my soft pitch for like a rewrite of this movie is that they're gonna shut down the mines because of the advancements that they made. Keep that plot line, and Fred Flintstone kind of becomes like a leader of like the strike, right? Because we want, for me, is like I can't I don't know, maybe this is too much of me being like a union guy, but like I
I was,
can't.
I
Dude,
literally,
I'm too biased, but like I can't sympathize with the fucking CEO character. It's just not in my blood.
but
So like
that's the thing. I just keep coming back
well,
to
also,
like
I don't. But that's the thing is like I don't think that this should be that movie. I think if it was something where it's like Fred Flintstone being like a cornerstone of the community rather than the community going after Fred Flintstone, this feels almost like what should have been a sequel plot, where like if you wanted to do like the first one where everybody's like lifting him up, like I don't know. I think that would have been nice and like friendlier rather than literally everybody, his wife, his family, his best friend, his job, his coworkers, like everybody fucking hating him. Like, and then that is okay. All right, I kind of see your point a little bit. I think it's changed. All right, so you have a point, but like it would have been cooler if he wasn't a fucking like fucking company man. Fuck that shit.
I
stick with that
think
point.
what you're hitting on is a point of dissatisfaction that I felt, where it really doesn't feel like, I don't know exactly what point it would be, but there's at some point where it really feels like Fred is a different character. And I mean, no shit, he becomes a different character. To me, it was way earlier than that. Like, it becomes, obviously he's going through the change of like, he gets rich and he's in this position, but like, it didn't feel like they did enough to really justify or show how he's pushed into that. It's a lot of, I think, what you were trying to
They just
say
rely
with,
on him being a fucking idiot.
Well, that, but what Danny, right?
Thank you.
Yep.
Danny was trying to say was
Sammy,
that
right?
the
Sammy
movie
backs me up.
tries to push the plot, or the plot tries to just push the movie. It's like, oh, this has to happen. And it really kind of like, it doesn't really let you ever see the characters go through stuff for very long. And it's a quick movie. So, to me, it felt like a little was cut. And again, this is all like a lot to expect, I guess, from the Flintstones movie. But like, yeah, it's never going to get it quite above like that popcorn flick level, which is okay.
And I want to just touch on two quick things. Number one was you made the comment about that them going back to the status quo. That had to happen because there was supposed to be another movie made, and nobody wants to watch the Bond Flintstones because now they're rich because he would have been president.
Yeah.
VP Flintstone decides to send in the National Guard to bomb the striking guys again.
So that's part of the status quo thing. That's why I think originally that it went back to kind of because you need the struggle for the movie kind of thing. So I think that's why I went back to the status quo. And to touch on your statement about needing Barney to be the hero, I agree with that. But at the end, who got all the credit?
Barney gets credited for the cement, which was also like, or no, not Barney. I meant Fred.
Fred, correct.
Fred
was the hero.
Yeah, I
Fred
fucked up.
created concrete. Fred did this.
The other
he
thing
was the
that-
one that got offered the promotion because again, Barney got overlooked.
Dude, the ending is also kind of fucking stupid. So they offer him like the VP position of cement, and then he's like, the president of cement, and he's like, no, I'm all set. I just want to like be a working class, and he gets the benefits for the guys, which is really cool. So I'm with him with that. But the thing that's crazy is like, dog, he had way more negotiating power. He definitely could have done. He could have been like, all right, I'll take that position. And then like also
Barney, you're VP.
Barney's VP. Yeah. And also all these guys are gonna get this shit. And they could have been like, yeah, that sounds about right. Let's get to work, boys. Like everybody could have been happy, but it's like it's just this weird thing of like he's like, no, I gotta fucking go back to being a fucking laborer, and that's what I gotta do.
That's
because he's an idiot.
That is the problem with the movie. I think you've just said it. Is
he doesn't accept the growth
to tell a story. It wants to be about, or it's trying to like tell us that it's a story about, power corrupts, and that's the lesson that he has to learn. That's not really the lesson he learns. It kind of comes off more like, I'm too stupid to do this, so I'm just going back to the position I know. Because they never actually challenge the things that we're screwing them over.
I feel
No,
like,
Right?
I feel like
and
that
I just think it's the
parallels
product
reality.
of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's also probably
Yeah.
There's
part
very
of the.
stupid people in power that should go back to the jobs they had before.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's more like they're trying to make this story about like, oh, Fred is corrupted by not just materialism, but by like this corporate structure, and that's using him to abuse people.
I love how much
And he
we're
just kind of
reading into
says,
this.
"Not
This
for
is
me.
so
I'm
good.
gonna step
Well,
back."
yeah, I think I got to be honest. The amount of growth you guys are expecting from Fred Flintstone.
That's yeah.
Think about it.
You know what? No,
This
but-
the entirety of these events take place over the course of what, a couple weeks?
Yeah. So I will say,
And within a couple weeks, a guy who went from not reading contracts, he's now all of a sudden going to have the moral compass of Robin Hood.
no. Okay.
You know, it's going
My-
to take some time.
But it is
He's gotta-
unsatisfying.
That no, actually,
That's valid.
This is a good segue because there is actually so much that I really truly love about this movie, and I don't want to just seem like I'm slam dunking on it.
Let me ask you, what was your
Yeah.
favorite part of the story overall?
Okay. I actually I really love the whole aspect of Fred Flintstone getting Barney and his wife, like the child, like the money for adopting the child. Like I think that's like really, really sweet. And like it cuts deep to my family. Like my
Yeah.
family has adoption within it, and it's like, that's something that's like important to me. And so I'm a little basist towards unions and non-nuclear families.
Hey,
so.
and in '94, that was probably important to include stuff like that.
Yeah,
because
and-
the pop.
I mean, I don't
popularity is
know.
not the right
Is
word,
that
but
canon in the cartoon?
I was actually
Bam
gonna
Bam
say
adopted?
I don't think I have no idea if they
I don't
ever
think so.
established that. But
I don't
like
think it's ever addressed.
no,
anybody
Was
know?
Bam Bam adopted?
in the cartoons.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So that is okay.
But I mean, I think it's a cool thing to. I mean, they could have very well started the movie with Bam Bam.
just
like,
already being acclimated.
Yeah, like it doesn't, So I think that was really sweet. And you know what I really love is the bond between Barney and Fred. Like I think it's really perfect. Like Fred being the more dominant one, but like Barney, being this more sweet and smart and caring. Really great duo. Amazing production design. Oh my God, it's so good. Every set is fucking gorgeous.
Hold
and
that, because
incredible.
that's one of my next sections.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I just didn't. I know you got some
Not
gems
there
to
yet,
spit.
Tyler.
So I just want
I'm
to
sorry.
fill in the group on this because the question was asked. Yes, Bam Bam Rumble is adopted son of Barney and Betty Rubble. The Rubbles adopted him in season 4.
Wow.
Episode 3, dubbed Little Bam Bam, after finding a super strong toddler left in a basket on their doorstep with a note bearing his name, Bam Bam.
How crazy is that, dude? The original series was on for 6 years. They brought, presumably, they brought Bam Bam in 4 years in. And in 2 years, he became just as popular as the entirety of the rest of the cast. Like, that's pretty remarkable.
And only said 2 words the entire time.
Right? Let me spit a little interesting fact here with you guys before we jump too far.
Hit me.
You're going to
So-
regurgitate facts.
Yeah. I think you'll appreciate this one too.
You know I'm all about facts. You know I like my research.
So obviously this came out in '94, but the live action rights for this were actually acquired in 1985, and it was originally set to have legendary director Richard Donner,
Okay.
who is known for episodes of The Twilight Zone and The Man from U.N.C.L.E., as well as films including Superman from 1978, The Goonies, Lethal Weapon, and more.
Oh wow.
So Donner was initially set to direct. However, they went through 4 or 5 different versions of this script, and he rejected every single one of them.
Little thing we call development hell.
Literally. Dude, so I thought this was funny. There was even a script that was submitted that was said to be inspired by John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath,
Okay.
the famous novel.
That would
Yeah.
go so hard.
And so in this version of the script, Fred and Barney leave Bedrock during a terrible depression, and they go across the land looking for jobs. They wind up in trailer parks trying to keep their families together, and they're forced to exhibit moments of heroism and poignancy. Richard Donner hated that one the most, and that was about the time that he jumped off the project.
Yeah.
And so after him rejecting all of these scripts, the rights were sold to Amblin Entertainment, aka Steven Spielberg, and he in turn hired Brian Levant, because Brian Levant, while being like a minor film director, is also one of the biggest Flintstones fans like in the world, and he has one of the biggest.
Oh yeah.
He had one of the biggest Flintstones collections like in history before doing this movie. So it was like they found somebody who literally loved this property to make it. And they were working on, I think Spielberg and Goodman were working on, I think it was Angel, if I'm not mistaken.
Always.
Sorry. They were working
that
on.
Was the exact fact that I was going to spit if you didn't bring it up.
I remember they were working on this film called Always, and Spielberg basically like told Goodman during that movie, he's like, "You're gonna play Fred Flintstone," and Goodman tried to get out of it like mad times, and just couldn't get out of it.
That's why he didn't. That's why they weren't in the. That's why he wasn't in the sequel.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
he
not
exactly
often...
said it. That's why he wasn't. He had to support.
Oh, there
that
was a sequel.
No, there was plans for it.
Oh, okay.
But Goodman was asked in an interview about it, and he goes, "I had to support that. I had to support that stupid haircut for 3 months. It will never happen again."
I feel like with sorry.
It was like the haircut was like one of the biggest reasons, and then some of them complained that they had to film the entire thing barefooted.
I mean, credit to him, it does not show in the performance. Like, he looks like he's having a great time.
right.
I'm sure he warmed up to it.
So I watched some of the behind the scenes featurettes while I was preparing for the episode, and it looks like they are having the time of their life doing this movie. Like even the scene where they're at the dinner and they all start doing the dance. Them practicing that scene is like one of the funniest things. Like it's just blooper reels of them messing up this choreography and like trying to perfect this like stupid dance that just ends up being so funny.
That's like watching the behind the scene bloopers for Grease,
right?
With the dance scenes.
I just had it's a little off the current topic, but if I don't say it, I'm going to lose it. I think, and bear with me, we're going to go on a little journey here. It's not that long a journey. It's not that deep.
Have you been on this podcast with me today? We go on journeys.
There we go.
Time.
I'm here.
Don't worry. I'll start steering you if I need to.
I think this movie is kind of, you could say either like a, was it a, I can't think of the fucking word. I'm going to say the word that I was going to say, kind of a canary in the coal mine for like the current state of pop culture adaptations, right?
Yeah.
Because, I think this movie, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of its, the same movies that were going on at the time trying to do the same thing, but this movie is so faithful to the source material, and it's really not trying to go above what the cartoon did, except in terms of production value. And even then, like, it's not that ambitious with its set pieces. It's all stuff that you could see in the cartoon. It's a good Goldberg machine at the end. We're not getting any Lawrence of Arabia up in here. And like, what do we get? What do we have now? We have movies like the Super Mario movie, a Minecraft movie, just any of those movies that are literally like, hey, that's in that's from the game. Hey, that's that bit from the cartoon where Bam Bam did that. And that's like the whole movie, which, obviously from the language I'm using, you can tell that's not really my thing. But like, I can't fault that for fans of it, that's all they want. And like, we're seeing now that those movies do well. And this is like the earliest example I can think of that. Because at the same time, you get the Mario Brothers movie, trying to tell this post-apocalyptic thing where it's like everything's totally different, and audience is just like, what the fuck
I love
is
the
that?
Mario Brothers movie, but that was not a fan service movie.
Oh yeah, no,
not at all.
It's like two polar opposite directions. I just find that really interesting that this is the earliest movie I can think of that did that.
Yeah,
to that like successful level.
I'll ride for that movie. That movie is so cool.
I really feel also it's very I brought it up earlier, but like there's a Dick Tracy adaptation, which is like a 30s comic strip, like pulp novel character, and they really stick to it. Like I think they use like 12 colors total in the movie. Like it's and it's really, it kind of flew under the radar, like both critically and commercially, but it's really worth a watch because it is one of those movies that around the same time that it came out, I think, similar to Flintstones, but it really just hones in on the style, and Flintstones does such a great job of that. It's so 60s, and it's such a perfect emulation of that. Like, I don't know, it's not often that you get the right people making like remakes or like live action remakes. And clearly, the what was it, Spielberg with the massive collection, like, it shows like the actual care
Brian
put in,
Levin,
or
yeah.
Brian Levin, the actual care of it is there, like it shows, and it's incredible. And I just feel like that is missing so much. Like, look, if we're going to have adaptation after adaptation today, fucking so be it. Can we at least get people who like love and care about the series and like
Yeah.
know what's right, and then let them make those decisions? Like, like, I don't know, something like Superman was like, the James Gunn movie was like such a breath of fresh air, because it was again, it was like that 60s retro feel a little bit with Superman, like embracing like the saving of the squirrel, like how do we get this guy to a galactic zoo? Like, he cared about these things, and it was really genuine and earnest, and that's how Flintstones is as well. Very genuine, very earnest, so fucking funny. And oh god, just like really top-notch filmmaking, like beautiful shots,
Yeah.
like beautiful outdoor locations, like fully built town, like it just really, really great stuff, and with some really cutting edge, like, ILM shit as well, like really fantastic.
I got to take us off-roading for a second
Hell
because
yeah.
you mentioned Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
You may already know this because you're already hip to it. So have most of you guys seen the live action Dick Tracy adaptation?
One of my
I
favorite.
think I'm
movies.
getting it. Was there also the Spirit or whatever? Is that the
No,
one with
so
the
that's Spirit was done by Robert Rodriguez and
Okay,
Frank
that's
Miller.
the one I'm thinking of. So I don't think I have
So
seen
this
the
was
Dick Tracy
earlier. This was
movie.
earlier than that. So what's cool? So when the Dick Tracy live action adaptation happened, Warren Beatty, who plays him, bought the rights to do the live action film. So him and his company like produced it. When you get the rights to like a character adaptation, you essentially get those rights for so many years. And if you haven't done a project within that time frame, your rights expire and they revert back to the original rights holder.
Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Exactly. Very, very good point. We could do a whole episode on that. So what Warren Beatty would do is every time that the rights were coming up for expiration, he partnered with TCM and did like a short film for TV where he played Dick Tracy. And it would be like a 5 to 10 minute thing, and that would be enough for him to retain the rights for another 10 or 15 years or whatever it was. And TCM always partnered with him on it because they supported him like having the rights to that. And so when you brought up the Dick, that's like one of the things that always comes to mind with Dick Tracy now is I just think of Warren Beatty like every 10 or 20 years being like, all right, time to do another one, guys. Let me get my yellow raincoat out. Like,
yeah,
I get gassed up for it. I'm here for it. But let me.
It's funny that you bring up Dick Tracy because that was 1990. So that was what 8 years before, or 4 years before this.
Yeah.
For the record, I only have one more planned derailment.
Only one more.
All right. Well, I'm getting us back on
Is
track
there really a
for a
derailment?
moment.
No, not
it's
right
planned.
now. No, just
No, I know we'll get there. I want to talk. So we talked a lot about the plot and the story. I want to ask you guys specifically about the acting and the actors. You like how I said that? There we go.
Let's get the field report.
Come pull up a chair.
Pull up a chair.
Stool over here.
I just love Kyle MacLachlan in every scene.
So let me. So let's go in a circle.
What's you sorry for?
Huh?
You saved me
What's
for
you
last.
sorry for?
What?
Oh no. It says oops, sorry, LOL.
Yeah, because you had it on your name for the first like 40 something minutes of
Oh
the
yeah, because
show.
I have to change it every single,
Yeah.
and I forget.
So I changed it while we were in the middle of a conversation. So the
Fuck,
audience
Mike's
watching on
locking us up,
YouTube
dude. We're
knows.
locked in, guys.
That's
Oh,
it.
no.
I'm now changing my name.
We're locked
I'm no
in,
longer to be
dude.
referred as Danny Dimes. I'm gonna be referred to as Jamie Dimes.
Jamie Dimes. Why? I did it. I fixed it.
No, because I've just lost my spot.
JD
Now behind the
Dimes.
scenes and only behind the scenes.
I love JD Dimes.
All right. So because we are coming to the mark, obviously, let's try and keep our remarks somewhat contained. How did the acting performances translate overall for adapting an iconic 60s cartoon?
So I will have to only speak of the characters that are from the original show,
Okay.
because translating new characters that weren't in the original show is hard to say. So I will say the original characters that translated over, I felt were great.
Man, my boy did not like Kyle MacLachlan. He's out for blood.
No, it's just he's not an original character. Honestly, I think his character was a joke. Like,
I'm with Danny in terms of like judging it. You got to judge it off the characters that they're like adapting from the original series. I feel like, in terms of at least this specific question.
Oh, yeah, it's fair.
because I'm just saying, like, we can talk about Sharon Stone, but that's not from the original, so it's like hard to say she.
So
Halle
how did
Berry
the performances that were adapted from the 60s cartoon translate to you?
Great. I loved it. I think the cast of characters that were picked reflected the characters that were in the show. Certain like things that they would do for the characters are right. Here we go. I don't know if Rosie O'Donnell was the right pick for Betty, but
Oh, what?
but she had the laugh nailed. So it was really hard to like not use her because she had shown in previous that she could do the laugh. So it like hit the mark. So but I just don't know. I don't know because Rosie didn't hit it for me.
Okay.
But she did a great job of translating the character. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll take that. Sammy, how did you feel the performances translated overall?
I thought the original characters are fantastic. I agree with you a little bit on Rosie, but she nailed it. I mean, with the laugh and everything. I thought, and not to mention too, Betty was just such a sweet person too. And if you remember in the movie here where she wears the cloak and she goes back to Wilma to console Wilma once things start falling apart. But that's who the rebels were. The rebels, even in the original show, they were the sweet ones. Going back to Fred was just an idiot, even in the original.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he was
been
just
a dummy.
I if you remember when the Martians came into play with the original series, when the Martians started coming into play, and it just showed how stupid. I'm sorry, Fred was. But I mean, the original character is great. And the Kyle character, quite honestly, if you go back to the original, he's encompassing a lot of the evil people that showed up in different episodes of the original. So they kind of like combined it into it. And who said Wesley Snippet or whatever? Snidely Whiplash. Yeah. That's, I mean, they kind of like put that all into one character. And that's what they did. But I thought the characters were so well played. And I'm sorry, Elizabeth Taylor being in the Flintstones. Come on, that's rock on. Perfect.
Talk about an iconic last theatrical role before you pass
Honest
away.
to God,
Really?
and you could tell that she thoroughly enjoyed being in it too. And I was just like, God, major icon in the Flintstones. And I was gonna say quickly, I don't want to be hogging the microphone, but
Yes, you do.
yes, I do. I know you do. Come on, I'm not you.
Oh, shit.
Me hogging the microphone. I'm the one usually passing it, and I never have it.
You guys are hooked up.
Yeah, that's right. We hooked up now.
Now you made me lose my.
I have that effect.
So I'm gonna pass the microphone.
I mean, I didn't grow up watching the Flintstones, so I really can't judge them more than what I've gotten through like cultural mitosis. But They all are exactly what I would have thought the characters were, and also I just thought Kyle MacLachlan, like, just if you told me that his character, who I can't remember the fucking name of, if you told me he was like a part of the regular Flintstones cast, like he was the recurring villain, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. Like he does that so well, but that's really all I have to say because I didn't grow up with the show, so
That's fair.
And that would be Cliff Bender Cave.
Major
What a stupid
props to, I feel like John Goodman steals the show, but I'm gonna be a team Barney supporter. I'm a Barney supporter because you know what, Rick Moranis fucking kills it. He's so sweet. He's so timid. He is
Great human being.
great supporting character, like both like within the cartoon, but also just like they really nail their duo.
Yeah.
I love Rosie O'Donnell in this. Everybody else like really is great. I got to talk about my former coworker Kyle MacLachlan, who plays the bad in this. I worked on a movie called Confess Fletch.
Just so you know, we get this a lot. It's okay.
Hold on, before you tell this story, let's get everybody hyped up here real quick.
So, I worked on a movie called Confess Fletch. It was a remake of the Chevy Chase movie, just called Fletch. And John Hamm was in it, and Kyle MacLachlan. Spoilers, but it came out like I don't know 5-6 years ago. But anyway, Kyle MacLachlan plays like the big bad or like the secret reveal bad guy at the end. And anyway, so
I know.
yeah, I know, right? So I was walking back to set. And I see this like older guy kind of pacing around the grip truck, and he's kind of talking to himself. I'm like, oh, okay, he's reciting lines, he's probably an actor. So I go up to the truck, and he's kind of over there, and I'm like, hey, you got a big scene or something today, or something like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I sure do. And I'm like, well, hey, good luck. And he says, thanks, kid, I'm gonna need it. And then he walks and kind of saunters off. And my other buddy was already at the truck, and he, he's an older gentleman, and he kind of rushes over to me. He's like, "Do you know who the fuck that was?" And I'm like, no, I don't know. I was like, probably some like BG, like background actor, like I don't know. He's like, that's fucking Paul Atreides. That's fucking like Special Agent Dale Cooper. He's like, dude, that's Kyle MacLachlan. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, huh, that's pretty cool. And then I got into Twin Peaks, and then that got me into David Lynch. So fun little way of six degrees
cool.
of separation.
What a small world. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
He was really nice. He was cool as a cucumber. Like I think he realized that I didn't know who he was, and which probably worked out. Where he's like, oh cool, I can just have a genuine moment with a human being like who doesn't isn't expecting anything from this. So. Yeah, he's a A+ human being in my part, and his Instagram is fucking hilarious. Him and his daughter just make cute little videos. It's fun. You got something for this? For the acting?
Welcome to the panel, Elliot.
I don't know what the question was.
Sure wouldn't be an episode.
I was going to say, it wouldn't be an episode without that question right there. What was the question?
So what we're asking everybody is how they felt the acting performances translated, being that a lot of them were adapted from a 1960s cartoon.
I think they did fucking great. I think they all picked up on the characters perfectly. The cast was really good. Obviously, I can't say for all the characters, but the ones I'm most familiar with, like
You can, I'll let you say it.
fucking Rick Moranis, like perfect for Barney. John Goodman, perfect for Fred Flintstone.
True.
I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, let me stay on you and then send the question back this way. Who had the most standout acting performance?
I honestly, I don't know.
All right.
I enjoyed all of them.
Well, we'll
I don't wanna
rewatch.
pick
We'll
one.
rewatch it again right now, and then you can decide.
No, I want to go home.
None of Mike already locked the doors. None of us are leaving until we suitably answer each of these questions. Just kidding. Your privileges have been revoked.
I'm gonna go with Mr. Rick Moranis and Kyle MacLachlan.
Ooh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who plays Fred's wife Wilma.
Wilma.
Yeah,
Wilma?
yeah, who's Wilma?
That's a very good question. I don't remember.
I'm gonna give it to
I'm
Wilma,
sorry, but she is
Wilma
great.
and Barney. Wilma and Barney, to me, I think have like the best performances, with a third place being John Goodman and a fourth place being Kyle MacLachlan.
Okay.
For me,
I dig that.
yeah, I just think
Right. Well, I
Rick.
was right. It's Elizabeth, but it's Elizabeth Perkins.
Perkins.
Oh,
I
got
couldn't
you.
remember
Yeah,
the last name. I knew the first name.
Rick Moranis is so
You can listen
he's just
back
so
and you hear me say
sweet. Elizabeth Perkins is just kind of like the moral backbone for Fred, and also just kind of steals the scene in every scene that she's in. Yeah, and everybody else is great.
Can you squeeze the juice box? Tell me a couple Elizabeth Perkins joints.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude.
Thank you.
What a great way of saying look that up. Squeeze the juice box.
We already had it.
I'm
so
stealing that.
I like
dude.
that.
Well,
Take
he
it.
was
I'm
also
using that.
saying
Good one.
so. The biggest thing that I know her for, and I absolutely love her in, is Weeds.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going nuts.
I
I haven't
love-
seen that. I've heard good
I
things.
remember my mom watched
So
it.
you know who it is now, right? Cecilia.
Oh, Cecilia.
That's awesome. All right.
Oh, wait, no, we can't post it on YouTube now.
Oh,
Well, she's the good mom
Damn it.
that becomes the finds the legal mom doing her shit, and then she's like, "Well, you're giving me my cut now."
Cora, what are your
'Cause she's
actors?
poor.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I don't think any of them really stood out. Like, not in a bad way. Like, it was just they were all kind of. They felt like all at the same level. Like
Yeah,
they were all
that's
giving
fair.
the same.
So it was like
quality.
a well coordinated
Yeah.
ensemble. If
Yeah,
you will.
like I mean, I
ensemble.
guess the only one I could really say, kind of going apart from that, to be fucking negative Nancy over here, is fucking Halle Berry.
Mhm.
Fine, not amazing. She's kind of
Yeah.
just there to be eye candy, and
I feel like that's more
occasionally
a problem with the
fun.
writing.
Yeah,
rather than
like
her
I don't
performance.
think it's a problem with Halle Berry at all.
Yeah.
She did
No,
great
I think that was
actress.
like we need to use her for something.
I don't think they really gave her much for character to work with at all.
She just played like a Bond girl.
And like obviously the child
Again.
actors are child actors. But yeah, like no, just really good performances. I actually really did though like Rosie O'Donnell as lady number 2.
That lady number 2.
Just because like she does like these great, she has these great moments where she's tough, and like she's like she really lets her emotion through in a way that like feels so genuine to me, like when she's really getting frustrated with Wilma and stuff. But I'm gonna pass it on.
Ensemble is the right word, that's for sure. I thought all the actors were phenomenal in it, in their own way. But if I had to pick one, it'd be Moranis. I mean, he's just classic comedic.
That's a great take. The Bird, right?
Say again?
You're saying the Bird has the best.
No, I was talking about Barney.
She said Rick Moranis.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I
the
totally
bird. Yeah, the bird. I mean,
misheard you.
that's what's his name from?
Mel Blanc.
No, Mel Blanc was Dino.
Dino.
Yeah, and
Harvey.
Harvey Korman. Harvey
yeah.
Korman. Yeah, was the bird.
I totally
And-
misheard you there. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
gonna
no worries.
stop interrupting you now.
But I mean, we just had voice acting on that too. But I mean,
Hey,
Harvey Korman's just classic, anyways.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. But I mean, ensemble's the classic word for this one. That's for sure. And I am so used to passing it back to you.
I know.
That is just so. Weird.
I know. It's gonna take a little to get used to this.
Well, the joke used to be I didn't need the mic because of how loud I was. Now I just don't need the mic. So I'm gonna jump on your bandwagon. I can't pick one standout because I just think it was a great ensemble. I think it was a great cast that was well put together. Energy match energy match energy. I think when one tried to step up, another one, you know what I'm saying? And that's like each character just elevated each character. If I have to pick one in particular, I'm just going to go with John Goodman because I am just an absolute fan. Like,
Same.
I love the man. I love his movies. I love what he's done. And
Come to our John Goodman birthday party in a couple weeks, guys.
that's right. Couple
Yeah,
weeks.
he's also kind of
John
ripped in this
Goodman.
movie, oddly.
Yeah.
I was like, what
Dude,
the fuck?
he flexes a few
Oh,
times.
I know.
In this,
I was like, God damn.
and I felt a couple sweat beads come down.
That's a separate issue, but
And I was just going to jump in what you grabbed and showed to me. we do have an episode for that coming up.
Oh, an even sexier John Goodman movie.
Yep.
All right, I'm there. Sign me up, dude. No, I'm kidding.
So my last question before we move on from casting, and if no, this is only if you have something in mind.
Yes, ladies, I'm single.
Any dream casting changes that you would make? Like in a perfect world, if there's anybody you could switch out.
I want Mr. Slade to be played by Werner Horst.
Yes.
Wow, how do I say his fucking last name?
I know.
Herzog.
Herzog. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you got to say the Verna.
Then
Yeah.
and then Fred Flintstone played by Wim Wenders. No, I'm kidding. That's it. I don't have anything to add to this question.
I started laughing, but I don't have an answer. I'm trying to think who the funniest person in Halle Berry's role would be. I'm not sure who it is, but like
The woman who played Aunt May in the original Sam Raimi trilogy. That would be funny. I don't know. Never mind.
All right,
Can't all
fair
be
enough.
with it.
I don't know if I would change
I don't
anybody.
think I
it's
would
pretty
That's
perfect.
cool.
It's
I
pretty
like the
perfect.
And it's funny because the worst part is I'm over here thinking like, who would I change? And I kind of like already bagged on her once, and I'm like, who would I replace Betty with? And I'm trying to figure somebody
Who
out.
would you?
right?
Yeah, who would you?
Oh, let me finish. I'm trying to figure this
Reba.
out. Let me finish. And I'm struggling right now, so I don't want to admit that maybe it was the right pick, but I'm just saying I am struggling a little
Hearts
bit.
can change.
But I am also trying to think of actresses between 1990 and 1994. It's a little while ago for me, so I'm kind of drawing some blanks right now. But I think I would have to sit down and maybe have a small list.
Well, and that's what I was thinking back to. I mean, this is
Jodie
only the second
Foster.
time I've ever seen it. In 1994,
Marissa
Rosie
Tomei.
O'Donnell was huge. So yeah, so that was, and I remember going to see it and going, wow, they really had spot on casting here. And I sat here tonight going, still spot on
Yep.
casting. Yep, that's all I kept thinking. It was like they really did it. They did it. So
I understand she was huge, and now this is going to be on record, and I don't care because y'all shit on me anyways for how I feel. But I was not a huge Rosie O'Donnell fan.
And that's a really
So-
unpopular opinion. Usually people love Rosie O'Donnell.
she's political now.
Yeah.
No, I'm
She's
sorry.
real
That was
political.
meant to be a joke. Another one that didn't stick.
Oh wait, is that Roseanne?
No.
No,
Oh,
that's Roseanne
okay.
Barr. Shit, that's a
I
separate
fucking
category.
That's Roseanne Barr.
Yeah,
But
she-
Rosie O'Donnell,
She's cultivated some enemies as well.
before the political, before all of that, I was still not a huge fan. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I never ran out to really
I
watch
mean,
her stuff.
but let's be honest. I don't think Rosie O'Donnell was really in the market to make movies for like 8 to 13-year-old boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like her acting reached a different market, I think.
Yeah, League of Her Own and all that.
Yeah.
Did
But
we
the
ever
thing
watch
is
that?
I absolutely
Hmm?
love
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
Love
I
that
love
movie.
that movie.
Was I could
That's one of my
don't
girlfriend's
crucify
all-time
me in
favorites.
this chat. Was she in Fried Green Tomatoes?
Rosie? No, that was Gina Davis, which
Gina.
was
Yeah.
in
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
League of Their Own.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's okay.
Gina Davis played the catcher in League of Their Own.
All right. So I must have mixed that
She
up.
was the sister of Kat
Sorry.
that was the pitcher.
I see.
All right.
All right. So
That one I've seen multiple times.
Madonna was in it. Like I can go on. Tom Hanks played the coach. Yep. Like, I can go on about that movie, but even in that, Rosie O'Donnell's character, I was not. It was a part of the movie, like, that wasn't. Yeah, whatever. I shit on you too.
He's got the.
I was just-
wheel.
I was just holding the wheel.
Cody, take the wheel.
It's all right.
That was fun.
Now you understand. We
Take
go
it
on
from
journeys. So that's right.
downtown.
That's why you're like, we're going on a journey.
Gotta left flow, dude.
Whatever.
We're getting close. That's
Oh,
why I got to
shit.
steer this ship.
Joel, the
Okay,
last
all right,
time
all
I
right.
cheered the ship because we were at almost 2.5 hours, you basically told me to go.
It was
All right.
it was too late. I was already mocktail driving at that point.
Yeah, okay. Fuck it, it's getting late.
So I got 2 more sections before we close this thing out.
Awesome.
You might lose me for the last one.
The first
but-
one is a pop quiz. If everyone could just take one of these real quick. No, I just want to ask you guys, does anybody recall the first thing that stood out to them visually in this film?
Dino.
Dino and
Oh, sorry.
The set specifically when they did the scene where they were cutting to his special alarm clock and they showed the column, because I do prop making and visual effects, and I was like, oh, it's really cool how cartoony they made the rocks look. And I'm thinking, like, I wonder if they use insulation foam for it, because that's something I'd do to make that.
hell yeah.
I think for me it was like the little like the seeing the animals being used as like the razor or the shower, like they're actually like fully committing to that, and then seeing that it's an actual physical animal like 90% of the time, except for the like sometimes there's a wide shot and they switch to like the ILM magic. So
Yeah.
that was definitely really sick.
You said a pop quiz, right? So there's an answer you want from this. I mean, the first shot, like that I remember in the movie, is the dinosaur biting the screen, right? So, I mean that I still think that's the best looking dinosaur shot in this. Most kids look like a real dinosaur, kind of, but yeah, I'm going with that.
Good call. I'm going with Dino, and yeah, I think Dino was amazing. And then the dinosaur when she goes to give the egg back, when Betty goes to give the egg back.
Oh
to,
yeah,
that was pretty super looking too, and so I just thought that was cool beans.
So let me follow up with anybody that's interested before we move on. So if that was the first thing that caught your eye, what was your favorite thing visually throughout the entirety of the film?
Definitely the production design, just the amount of effort and time and craftsmanship that went into every single one of those sets is just mind-boggling, and it's so beautiful, and it's so real because it's actually fucking there. Like they took the time, they built it. Like the exterior shots when they're going through the town, it's like, oh my god, it's so cool. All the vehicles, like, and it doesn't, it looks like it's made from those like materials for the most part. Like some of the rocks are definitely like spray foam and like insulation and shit, but like it's just, I don't know, it's just so, I could like live in that world, and I love feeling that when I watch a movie.
I love that too. That's very much similar to how I felt. Was like everything just felt livable. You could touch everything. You would see the animals run by. Like it felt like it could be like an amusement park after the fact, which was really cool.
The garbage disposal monster.
No.
That was the funniest, like, best gag to me, I think, in the entire movie. I just like it looks so good. The puppetry's great, and it's so darkly absurd. Like that's this thing's entire job. And I was thinking to the guy, I'm like, what do you think they did with that thing? Like that was a creature that had
right, and the irony of that
and
coming
then
back
he
to
shows up
haunt
at
him.
the end. I was like, yes, okay.
Oh, I love that. What a good pull right there.
Oh no, I'm good.
Oh, no.
Okay, cool.
I got you.
Mr. Do?
Yep, real quick, and I will keep it quick in my world. So you asked the first thing visually. I said Dino.
Yep.
Because of how early he comes in. My favorite thing visually is going to jump back on what Tyler said is, for me, is the amount of modern things that are referenced throughout the movie, but made into that BC time. So like the garbage disposaler.
Yeah.
That's a modern thing, but it was like a pig underneath there eating everything. And then when they replaced their garbage disposaler, they just got a young pig. So it was skinny, not fat yet. Big thing for me was like, I'm a big bowler. I used to be until my shoulder. But anyways, like the use of animals to remove the pins, like to pick up the pins that didn't fall, the crab came down and then it swept.
Yeah.
So it's funny in the cartoon, it was monkey tails.
Probably easier to animate.
It would come down, the monkeys would wrap their tails around the pins that were standing up. They would go back up and pick up the pins, and then the other monkeys would sweep away the pins that fell down. But in this, it was crab claws that picked them up. But to me, a lot of the modern things that were made for like BC. So that to me was like one of my favorite visual things about the movie.
I love that. So the last thing I want to talk about, and this is probably going to mostly be for you two, so we'll kind of run through this quick. But what I want to
I
know,
feel a little ageism over here.
you should feel so fortunate that you lived in the time to experience it.
I
And
don't.
so basically, the last thing I want to talk about before we give our final thoughts and review and such is the marketing. The last thing I want to ask about before we give our final thoughts is marketing. This is another movie from the 1990s, which in my opinion had some of the most adventurous, unique marketing campaigns for films. While this one wasn't as crazy as Godzilla, Batman Forever, it definitely was a predecessor for the $20+ million movie marketing campaign kind of thing. There was a lot of moments that seemed to carry on through the years. Is there something that each of you remembers most about the marketing campaign for this film?
Yes, I had a Barney Rubble Burger meal from McDonald's. That's what you're asking.
I mean, I like that you mentioned that. Hell yeah.
Good. Is it a good burger?
Follow-up question: was it tasty?
I will say that it was a lot better back then than they are now.
Fair point.
I don't remember the marketing that well. I was in my late 20s when this came out, and I do remember that they did gear it towards people that grew up with the series. So I remember, all my friends going, "You go to see it? You go to see it?" It was because we were all like excited little kids to go see it. But I don't remember the marketing too much. But this movie, I have to tell you, the details are just so phenomenal. And if I don't remember to say this right now, Tavern in the Green, which we have right in Tingsboro. Did you notice that that's the name of the restaurant was Cavern in the Green? And I was like, didn't catch that in 1994, did I? But I caught it tonight, and I was like, so clever, so clever. And there's like little bits that I totally missed in 1994 that I caught tonight. But the marketing, like I said, they geared it towards my generation, saying, "Oh, it's back," So it was.
Well, it's funny that you said that because when I was a little kid, I didn't know what a roach coach was.
Then you work at Best Buy for a little bit and you learn real fast.
Oh no, you do construction in Florida,
Then you know what
and
a
it
roach
drives
coach
onto
is.
the site, and that's where you get your lunch from. And everybody's like, "You're getting food from we're going to the roach coach. You coming?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "If it has roaches, why are you guys getting food from it?"
We used to get one at Harley. It was awesome. Those really are the best, dude.
I really learned that the best
It's the
food on
best
God's
food.
green earth comes off the back of that
They
truck.
do. They
True.
do. You know what I like about this movie too? I was thinking about when you guys were all talking about it's meant to be, based on a cartoon, but the deep conversations you guys got into tonight over the Flintstones, And I was just thinking
Literally.
about my old man tonight going, "You gonna watch the Flintstones?" I mean, like laughing at me. And I'm like, wow, if he was sitting here right now listening to this deep conversation
Yeah.
about the Flintstones.
Talking about capitalism and existentialism. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Am I making my own bedrock in today's society? Stay tuned.
We never touched on it, but they were just gonna lynch them, and that was oh
Dude,
my
the rope
gosh,
swinging over the branch, and I was like,
oh my
"God."
gosh.
We didn't bring it up because this side of the panel knows I'm going to probably make an inappropriate joke.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's crazy. That got a little dark, a little fast.
I
They were
wanted more
white.
of that.
Good thing Luigi Mangione wasn't in bedrock,
I
right?
know, right? Yeah, dude. He would have knocked. He would have fucking 2 shots in the back.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been no happy moment for getting all them people laid off from their jobs.
Well, let's never mind forget how fast that Betty and Wilma were going to knock over that gigantic tree by the roots.
Everybody got out of the way, and they couldn't control the vehicle.
I did want to point out just this small little thing.
Anyway,
I thought it was hysterical. He got all that money,
this movie.
and then he goes buys a 2-seater car when he clearly has a daughter.
Valid
Deep
point.
movie. Deep movie.
Exactly. So I have 2 points that I want to mention about marketing. So obviously you guys kind of touched on one, which was the McDonald's crossover was crazy. I was young, but I was still old enough to go into stores and see the prop things and whatnot. And we talked about this off air, I think, or maybe we mentioned it earlier, but they had the glass mugs from McDonald's prior to, like, Batman. I'm a Batman
Off air.
fan. Batman Forever is the thing that everybody associates with the glass mugs.
You wanna say
But
something, Mike?
Flintstones was up on that ahead of they were 2 years before that. And they also got McDonald's to bring back the McRib, which had been like gone for a number of years at the time.
Sad days.
I know. They filmed all the commercials on the film set while they were doing the movie. They would bring the McDonald's crew there and use the same exact sets and props and stuff. So, like, kind of like what you were saying, the whole universe they created was like this internal livable thing. And then
That's
we
getting
mentioned
their money's worth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting their money's worth.
The other thing, so I wish I had remembered this, but admittedly this came up in my research. I was probably too young, but there was the week that the movie came out, there was a show on MTV that was called The Grind. It was this dance music show.
Okay.
It was called the Grind.
The Grind.
The Grind with Eric Nyes. Hopefully I'm saying that right. The Grind with Eric Nyes. And so the week the movie came out, they filmed an episode of that show on the set of Bedrock, and they had all the dancers wearing like the Bedrock outfits with the stone necklaces and stuff.
That's smart.
So you had an MTV show with all of these dancers in a cave in like cave clothing, and they were dancing to like the hits of the time, which was like Ace of Base, Warren G, Nate Dogg, and all this kind of stuff. And the end of the episode was them basically trying to get people to buy the soundtrack for the movie. So I was like, what a really cool tie-in, honest. Like, I guess now it would be like out of place, but back then when MTV was like such a staple of the monoculture, like how cool that they would go to a film set and like adapt their show to the film set and stuff. I just thought that was really
It's
cool.
probably like a parent company situation where like MTV and Warner Brothers or
for
whoever-
sure. Yeah, I'm sure Viacom probably.
Yeah. So it's cool. Like sometimes like American Idol will do that shit. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like random, NFL episode or whatever. Like, yeah, sorry.
All right, so let's go around in a circle. Letterboxd rating out of 5 stars, starting with you. 4. Love it. 4. Let's go.
3.5.
3.5. We'll take it.
I'm going 2.5.
2.5. I guess somebody's got to be the bad
Okay,
thief.
all right. I'll give it 3. Fuck off. I'll give it 3.
No, it's fine, dude.
No, 3 is
can be
final
sad.
answer. No, I like the set design too much to give it 2.5, 3.
Okay.
That's where the 0.5. in my
And
opinion.
Elliot, can we get your rating as well?
5. I have no complaints.
All right, hell yeah. I would say that's a pretty reasonable average.
What about you?
Oh, hey, you're
So,
a fucking first
We
timer,
appreciate
dude.
you
We
bringing
get it.
us through
Thank
this
you
segment.
for bringing
Thank you
that
for
up.
bringing us
Here we
into
go.
the segment.
So, what I do for followers of the show is the new episodes come out on Tuesday of next week. So Tuesday morning before the episode comes out, my review is going to go on Letterboxd, and it'll have the link to the new episode as well.
Oh, pretty good at this.
But I'm gonna give it a pretty
Yeah,
high
well,
rating
team.
though. What I am gonna do though is I'm gonna pull a recent Letterboxd review. I did some physical media hauling this past weekend.
We just talked about this on Monday.
Yeah. So shout out to Barnes and Noble. They don't need my help, but they had a ton of they have a cinematograph sale, a Vinegar Syndrome sale, random like horror movies and stuff on sale. They had some crazy stuff happen. And so I went and I balled out a little bit. I used some rap money, got some movies. One of the movies I picked up was The Phantom from 1996.
Oh, very cool.
So I just picked it. So Kino Lorber did a 4K restoration and put it out on disc. So I just picked this up while it was on sale at Barnes and Noble. I saw this in theaters with my dad as a kid, and I instantly fell in love. My dad and my grandfather put me on to like Lone Ranger and stuff like that. And like I had like the old like Western comic books that were like that big and super thick, and they'd be printed on crazy like smoke yellow pages and whatever. And so I was really fortunate that like even at that age, I already understood the idea of like a pulp comic, and I fell in love with it. And even though I couldn't verbalize it at the time, the first time I saw it, I was already aware of like what they were trying to do contextually. All these years later, watching it now with a 4K restoration and all this stuff, hits even better now than it ever did when I was a kid. It was so much fun. It has the pulp comic aesthetic to the writing, the style, the visuals. The action is great. The whole thing put together was like a really fun work of art. Billy Zane is phenomenal in this role, as are pretty much all the casting choices. For a pulp comic adaptation, the casting was just outstanding. If any of you guys have seen The Phantom, the last thing that I said was, now that I've seen Sorcerer, when the bridge scene comes up in The Phantom, that's all I can think about now is Sorcerer. And I just start sweating like all over again, being like, oh, how are they going to pull this one off? And then they make the kid do it. Crazy. But the Phantom 4K restoration is absolutely 4 out of 5 stars for me. It could have honestly been 4.5 stars. You know what I mean? But I just wish it was longer. That's the only reason on a perfect movie, because it just goes by so fast. So if you are into the movie review portion of the show, as we mentioned, my review for this film will be up next week, right before the episode goes live. You can catch all of my reviews for Film Club, as well as just all the movies that I watch in general. I try to put reviews on there. I have watch lists on there. I'll do random lists of influential movies. And way better than me, there's a ton of cool people that use Letterboxd. Our boy Marty, his friend, if you recognize him, Marty Scorsese, he's on there. He'll put lists of stuff coming up. There's all sorts of incredible people on there. So we're going to take a moment to kind of show you Letterboxd, follow me, support the show, and catch up with our reviews on there. All right, as always, guys, before we head out, we're going to run through some local screenings and event listings. If you guys have an important theatrical release, film screening, pop-up event, anything of that nature, shoot us. It doesn't matter where you are, anywhere in the world, we'll plug it. Shoot us an email at hellhoundfilmclub@gmail.com. Give us all the info you can. We would love to support however possible. And with that said, you want me to kick this off, or do you want to kick this off?
Kick it off, brother. Let's run this.
All right. So these first two are for people in the room here. By the time the episode comes out, these will have passed, but they're important to us, so I want to plug them. Friday, May 22nd, is the theatrical premiere for I Love Boosters. It's going to be in theaters nationwide, including Coolidge Corner Cinema in Brookline, Massachusetts. In the return of Boots Riley, nearly 8 years removed from the highly lauded Sorry to Bother You, I Love Boosters follows a crew of professional shoplifters who take aim at a cutthroat fashion maven, starring an all-star cast including Keke Palmer, Don Cheadle, Demi Moore, Taylor Page, and more.
Also on Friday, May 22nd, we have Godzilla -1 for the Asian American Heritage Month screening series, presented by AMC Theaters nationwide. This critically acclaimed 2023 installment to the franchise shows that Japan has barely recovered from the Second World War when a gigantic peril emerges off the coast of Tokyo. Kyoichi, a deserter traumatized by his first confrontation with Godzilla, sees this as an opportunity to redeem his conduct during the war.
June 5th is going to be Trainspotting 4K screenings presented by Sony Pictures Classics at theaters nationwide. Set in an underbelly of Edinburgh, the city fathers never dreamed of, Trainspotting is the story of Mark and his so-called friends, a bunch of losers, liars, psychos, thieves, and junkies. Hilarious but harrowing, the film charts the disintegration of their friendship as they proceed, seemingly inevitably, toward self-destruction. Mark alone has the insight and opportunity to escape his fate. But then again, does he really want to choose life?
Thursday, June 25th, Shaun of the Dead, part of the Thirsty Thursday series at Summer Theater bringing your favorite movie bars to the big screen. Sean is a 30-something loser with a dull, easy existence. When he's not working at the electronics store, he is living with his best friend Ed in a small flat on the outskirts of London. The only unpredictable element in his life is his girlfriend Liz, who he wishes desperately for Sean to grow up and be a man. When the town is inexplicably overran by zombies, Sean must rise to the occasion and protect both Liz and his mother. That's 7:30 at Somerville Theater. And for more details and other films in this series, visit www.somervilletheater.com.
On Sunday, July 5th, is the Citizen Kane 85th anniversary. Screenings are going to be presented by Fathom Entertainment at theaters nationwide. A boy abandoned by his parents inherits a fortune, builds a global newspaper empire, and aspires to become president of the United States. But he loses everything over an affair with an untalented nightclub singer. This fascinating story unfolds through the eyes of the people important to the tycoon, each showing a different aspect of Citizen Kane. This special 85th anniversary of the world-renowned Orson Welles picture includes exclusive insight from Leonard Maltin. If you live in our area of southern New Hampshire or in Massachusetts, there are screenings that day at AMC in Methuen, Apple Cinema in Merrimack and Hooksett, Showcase Cinema in Lowell and Woburn, Cinemark in Salem, New Hampshire, and plenty of other theaters as well. Go to fathomentertainment.com to find a screening near you.
Friday, July 17th, the Odyssey 70mm theatrical premiere in theaters nationwide, including on 70mm at the Coolidge Corner Cinema in Brookline, Massachusetts. A mythic event, action epic from master of cinema Chris Nolan, shot across the world, bring Homer foundational saga to screen, featuring Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, and Charlize Theron.
The New Hampshire Film Festival is October 15th through the 18th throughout downtown Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Submissions are open now. The New Hampshire Film Festival is an annual fall event located in Portsmouth, New Hampshire that unites professional filmmakers, screenwriters, and film industry experts with film lovers. Drawing thousands of attendees annually, NHFF is the region's premier film festival and is an integral resource for local and national industry professionals who return each year. Movie Maker magazine named the New Hampshire Film Festival on its annual list of 50 film festivals worth the entry fee, celebrating festivals that serve movie makers and audiences in some of the best destinations in the world. For details, visit newhampshirefilmfestival.com. As always, you know we love to shout out our favorite theaters. So big shout out to Coolidge Corner Cinema, Brattle Theater, Wilton Town Hall Theater, Milford Drive-In Theater, Mendon Twin Drive-In Theater, Wellfleet Drive-In Theater, Somerville Theater, Canonic in Portland, Maine, the Circle Cinema Theater, and the Admiral Twin Drive-In in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, for our favorite part of the show, somebody is going home with something. I came here and I'm leaving with something.
Daddy needs a new pair of posts.
So in this part of the program, we're going to share the spin wheel, and you're going to see the people that have stuck around to potentially win this prize. Let's see if we get this bad boy up here. All right, let's find out. Bless you. Gesundheit. Salud.
Comes out loose.
Oh!
Mike.
Big Mike. Mike the Healer.
You're the big winner, baby. Get over here.
Big shout out to the winner and owner and incredible DJ, Mike the Healer, down here at the spot in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Camera?
Yeah, dude.
You
guys
are
are
on
the fucking
camera, my
man.
man.
Mike,
You guys are the man and woman.
tonight you have won a custom 1-of-1 12x18 Film Club spot exclusive Flintstones poster.
You know what you're doing, bro. I'm honored and blessed to be able to provide such a space for everybody to be able to come down here and do this. This is going above and beyond, bro, and I appreciate you.
Hey, we appreciate
Nothing
you.
but
man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
Thank
you
you,
giving
guys.
us spot to our platform every
Yeah,
week.
Huge thank
man.
you to
We love
Mike
you.
for
Thank
letting
you.
us grow this
Thank you.
podcast. Big shout out to Mike one more time. We love you, man. Film Club wouldn't be the same without you.
And as always, we love you all and thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our main YouTube channel, Hellhound Publishing, and subscribe to our newest channel, Hellhound Film Club, dedicated to this show, as well as bonus clips, exclusive bonus episodes, interviews, and more. Those subs and comments are really taking us places.
Please consider being a part of our Patreon community for as little as $1 a month for exclusive and early access to Hellhound Film Club, as well as all of the other podcasts, music, and book releases from Hellhound Publishing. You'll get everything we've released there since starting back in 2018. And your support will help us get additional cameras, microphones, computers, and more ways for us to promote the show to new audiences. So if you consider joining the cause, visit www.patreon.com/Hellhound Publishing.
And don't forget, you can also join us here Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Spot in downtown Nashua, New Hampshire, for our free movie screening and live recording of these episodes. That's every Wednesday night at 217 Main Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. Come down, watch a flick, grab a drink, eat well with good friends, and
as always, don't forget the pop.